Hello guys, what's up? This is Murtaza. Welcome back to the next episode of my Promises in JavaScript tutorial here at my YouTube channel, A Coder's Journey. In the last video, we talked about, callbacks. We kind of saw how to implement a callback in a JavaScript application. And I told you that one of the biggest challenges of using callbacks is the pyramid of doom or callback hell. And I told you that promises promise to resolve this challenge. So in this video, I'm gonna, tell you a thing or two about promises, and then in the next video, I'm gonna take you to Visual Studio Code once again to tell you how to implement promises and the advantages that they, offer, especially when compared to callbacks. So before promises, developers used callbacks to handle asynchronous operations. So operations that take a long time and you do not need to wait for that long running operation to complete, right? You can do something else, and when that operation is complete, you will get notified and you can carry out doing something with the result. Callbacks, even though they are functional, they often lead to nested and hard to read code structures, right? Those levels of indentation, commonly known as callback hell or the pyramid of doom. Why pyramid? Because if, for example, you rotate your code, you will see that there is a pyramid-like shape, right, in your code. So this, of course, makes the code unmaintainable and very error-prone. It is also very challenging to debug the code. Now, promises to the rescue, right? So JavaScript promises were introduced to address these issues. They provide a more readable and well-structured way to handle asynchronous operations, right? They offer a clean syntax and facilitate better error handling, making asynchronous code more maintainable. I told you that one of the biggest challenges of using callbacks is that your code will get a lot of indentation. Now, when you are, chaining those callbacks to one another, promises resolve this challenge effectively. I mean, even if you chain promises to one another, you will not see indentation. So your code will remain clean and very, easy to understand and reason about. Now, promises. When you think about a promise in the real world, promise is something that you will tell someone else to do, which you will probably do, but in some cases, you might even fail, right, to keep up your promise. So when you say you promise to do something, it doesn't guarantee 100% that you will do it, right? Of course, you will try your best to keep your promise, but under certain circumstances, chances are that you will break your promise, right? That you will fail, right? And you will not be able to keep your promise. The same concept is applied to promises in JavaScript. So a promise represents the eventual completion or failure of an asynchronous operation. So that asynchronous operation, be it reading from a file or a database or receiving a response from a backend API, it will either complete successfully or fail, right? And eventual completion or failure of an asynchronous operation and its resulting value. It can exist in one of three states. So actually promises can have three different states. Pending. Pending is the initial state. So the promise is neither fulfilled nor rejected. When you create a promise, the promise is in the pending state, right? Then you have the fulfilled state. The fulfilled state means that the asynchronous operation has completed successfully and the promise has a resulting value, right? It has produced a value that you can consume, that you can use. And the last state, the last potential state actually, is rejected, which means that that asynchronous operation has encountered an error and the promise has failed for some reason. For example, take the example of, reading from a database file, right? So your code promises that we'll connect to a database and read some data from a table, right? So first off, the promise is in the pending state, means it hasn't been conducted yet. It hasn't been carried out yet, right? So you do not know whether the promise will be fulfilled or rejected. Then the asynchronous operation of reading from a database is initialized, is initiated, is started, and that promise can be fulfilled, can successfully complete by connecting to a database and then reading the value from that database, and then you will get the value. Or the promise can be rejected, meaning that there is, for example, something wrong with the database server, you cannot connect for some reason, and that promise is rejected, it is not fulfilled. So this is all about the promises. So basically a promise is an object that helps us write asynchronous code, right? First of all, before getting fulfilled or rejected, the promise is in the pending state. This is the initial state, right? The promise in this state is neither if the task that the promise is trying to achieve is done successfully, the promise will go to the fulfilled state, and then we will get back a result. And if the task for whatever reason gets cancelled or encounters a problem, the promise will go to the rejected state, and then we can handle the failure. This is the basic idea behind promises, and in the next video we will start implementing promises in a JavaScript application, and we will probably compare promises and callbacks so that we kind of better understand the advantages of promises, which is, as I told you, is the fact that promises get rid of those levels of indentation, and we do not get into the pyramid of doom again. So that was all for this video. If you've enjoyed watching it, please give it a thumbs up, share it with a friend, leave a comment in the comment section, subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet, and stay tuned for the next video where we will get our hands dirty with promises in VS Code. Till later, bye-bye.